This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it looks like we could say it definitively now. Donald Trump is indeed inheriting a world on fire. Just wild video out of California, out of Los Angeles right now. At least 3 or 4 wildfires raging out of control. And if you're wondering when you watch the videos why you don't see firefighters in every shot, is because they got nothing to do. They are out of water in many places. They got no water. And when you're a firefighter fighting a raging wildfire, you kind of need some water. You know what we're going to hear later today, tomorrow, the next day. You're going to hear, oh, it's climate change. Gavin Newsom will be holding a press conference, I'm sure, any minute now, to tell you it's climate change. All we need to do is pass the Green New Deal, and we'll have no more wildfires in California. That is a lie, and it's a cruel lie when you think about it. People are losing their homes. Some of them are fabulously wealthy. They have $6-8 million mansions in Malibu, which are up in flames. Restaurants, bars, stores are on fire, gone forever. And Democrats will tell you today, we just have to do something about climate change. As Nancy Pelosi said, Mother Nature is angry at us. It's all nonsense. The more you read, the more you hear, the more you realize this is mismanagement. These can be not prevented, but they can be limited. You need proper fire management. You need to clear the brush. You need to get the bums who are setting fires in their little encampments, them out of there. Now, we don't know yet that if that's the cause of this, but it's Los Angeles. They don't do anything about bums who have forests, have little campfires in their little encampments. I'm going to guess there's a good chance that could be the cause of this fire. And the fact that they didn't clear the brush because of some crazy environmental reason, another reason this thing is raging out of control. And I would say firefighters running out of water is a problem. And I'll never understand this. It's on the coast. It's on the ocean. Why don't they have a big, beautiful desalination plant right there so they have endless water, an endless supply of water to fight these fires and save these homes? As of yet, there's no deaths. As far as we know, death toll is 0. That's a good thing. People have gotten out. They've run and let their houses burn, which is sad. It is too bad. And the good news is the fire chief, Kristen Crowley, she's a proud member of the LGBTQ community. Yes, they have a DEI hire as fire chief who has made many videos, appeared in pride parades. She's a symbol of the triumph of DEI. So it's kind of like New Orleans right now. You're wondering, were they more focused on DEI in California than they should have been on fighting fires? And where's the mayor? The governor is there. Gavin Newsom's there. He's just itching to talk about climate change. But the mayor, Karen Bass, a socialist who just barely squeaked by and won the election over real estate billionaire Rick Caruso. She's in Ghana right now. Ghana, that's a country, I think, in Africa. Is that where it is? I don't know. The mayor of LA is in Ghana to celebrate the inauguration of their new president or premier or prime, who knows. What is a mayor of Los Angeles doing in Ghana? What sense does that make? Well, she's on her way home, and she'll have no trouble finding her way home because you just go toward the smoke, lady. Go toward the fire. That's where you work and live. That's the city you're supposed to be running, and it's on fire, and you're in Ghana. These people are just so incredibly incompetent, but that's what they voted for in California. That's what the climate crazies want. They want no clearing of the brush. They want to limit the water supply, and they want to blame it all on you because you just don't care enough about the climate when their whole community goes up in flames. Here is the aforementioned Rick Caruso, real estate developer, talking about these fires. He almost won. He almost became mayor. And I'm just going to guess he wouldn't be in Ghana right now if he were mayor. Listen to Rick Caruso talking, I think, on the local Fox affiliate this morning about the current conditions. Go ahead, play it.
My heart goes out, obviously, to the people with their homes, and I'm watching the small businesses around us go up in flames. This is people's livelihoods, so it's devastating. But what is most concerning to me is our first responders and our firefighters who are trying to battle this. There's no water in the Palisades. There's no water coming out of the fire hydrants. This is an absolute mismanagement by the city. It's not the firefighters' fault, but it's by the city. And I'm going to be very honest. We've got a mayor that's out of the country, and we've got a city that's burning, and there's no resources to put out fires. So if you look at your pictures, you don't see the firefighters there because there's nothing they can do. And it looks like we're in a third world country here. Mm-hmm. And we've got a lot of tough questions that we need to ask the mayor and the city council and our representatives and the county representatives. Why didn't you work to mitigate this? What was your brush mitigation program? I heard you earlier talking about it's been dry because there hasn't been rain. That's not the biggest problem here. The brush up in these hills that are controlled by the city and the county, I would bet you that if they haven't been handled, mitigated, pruned, removed for probably 30 or 40 years. This was a disaster waiting to happen. And what's predictable is preventable. And who's paying the price are all of these people in their homes and their businesses tonight. Now, we'll rebuild, but the majority of this community is going to have a tough time rebuilding their lives.
What's predictable is preventable. Well said, Rick Caruso. You should have been mayor. Maybe it would have been different. Maybe he would have managed and prevented these fires, or at least limited them. But no, you can't do that in California. Nature has to take its course. And then when things go wrong, you blame climate change. All right, we got to get to Donald Trump yesterday in just a monumental press conference. Donald Trump yesterday at Mar-a-Lago answered more questions in his 1 hour and 8 minute press conference than Joe Biden did in 4 years, more than Kamala Harris did in 4 years, which is not easy or not hard to do. Kamala Harris literally never held a press conference on U.S. soil, a solo press conference, never. Even as candidate for president, she never held a press conference. This is a preview of things to come. Trump standing up there in front of the crowd, in front of the world, fearlessly, candidly, openly, just saying, bring it on, and no filter, no script. He doesn't have a little list of people he has to call on. This just, by doing this, it is a refreshing change from what we've lived through, the secretive, the protection that Joe Biden has been given for the last 4 years. Trump has no such protection. He doesn't want it. Just stands there, takes questions. It was fascinating. And I'll explain why I find it so fascinating, because Trump said some controversial things. He was all over the map, questions about everything, talking about, Gaza and Greenland and the Gulf of America, as you probably already heard. But tell me this, does he talk about anything that's not in the best interests of this country, of America? He is literally America first, and everything he says and does, even if it sounds crazy, like, we're going to take over the Panama Canal, or we're going to take over Greenland. It's all what's best for this country, and everything he does. And I think that's why he's president again. In the end, it might be awkward. It might be, brash. It might be somewhat clumsy, but it's all designed to look out for the best interests of this country, which is such a refreshing change. No talk about, global warming or the Paris Climate Accords. Certainly no talk about let's celebrate diversity and inclusion, or let's welcome in, 10 million illegal immigrants. Those things that were priorities for Biden and Harris did not serve this country, did not serve Americans. That's the great contrast here. What Trump talks about Greenland, and we'll get to some of the highlights, because there were some funny points and there was some confrontational points with the media who were coming after him. They were. I watched a segment on CNN where they were so upset when he talked about the war in Ukraine, and he said Biden didn't negotiate well. Biden talked about Ukraine entering NATO, which upset Putin. And they said, oh, there he is again, sucking up to Putin. No, he was telling you the truth. He was explaining the genesis of the war. Yes, Putin did not like the threat of NATO on his doorstep. That was clear from the beginning. And the idea that you were suddenly just going to bring in Ukraine to NATO and Putin wasn't going to do anything about it, that's just reality. He wasn't sucking up or taking sides. He was telling you why this stupid war happened and why it's still happening and why he plans to end it. That was good. It was just telling it like it is. But there's so many highlights here. It's so much to kind of discuss and analyze here. But again, when you think about it, having a presence in Greenland, taking back control of the Panama Canal, making a better deal with Canada. Everything he does and says serves the American people, helps the country. It's not about the world or the globe or global warming or diversity or any of these ridiculous abstract goals or objectives of Biden, Harris, of Democrats in general. He is indeed America first, and it's not just a slogan. It's just so good to hear and see a president who wants to look out for this country first. And we got a bunch of highlights from this, but to me the most fascinating part, before we get to the cuts, is Greenland. And when he initially talked about this, I don't even know when it was, months ago, years ago, when he floated the idea, it became a kind of a joke, Greenland. We're going to call it Trump land. We're going to call it MAGA land. We're going to take over Greenland and put a flag in it. And then I started looking into it, reading about it. It makes all the sense in the world. This is it's the biggest island in the world. It's the size of Greenland. It's almost a quarter of the size of the U.S. It's massive, and it's in a really strategic location. I didn't know it was controlled by Denmark. Who the hell knew that? It has 57,000 people, and very scarcely populated. And Trump says flat out, we want Greenland for national security reasons. We want Greenland because of where it's located and because of the threats from Russia and China. He doesn't talk about, let's, we want to make it a vacation spot, or we want to, steal all the resources. He wants to have a major military presence there for strategic reasons. Why is that a problem? It makes all the sense in the world. With that presence, we protect NATO, including Denmark, I think. Wouldn't that be better for the free world? Wouldn't that be better for Europe if that were not controlled by Russia or China? Why not? Makes all the sense in the world. Here's Trump. Is this Trump talking about Greenland and flat out admitting it's for military reasons? Go ahead.
Well, we need Greenland for national security purposes. I've been told that for a long time, long before I even ran. People have been talking about it for a long time. You have approximately 45,000 people there. People really don't even know if Denmark has any legal right to it. But if they do, they should give it up because we need it for national security. That's for the free world. I'm talking about protecting the free world. You don't even need binoculars You look outside, you have China ships all over the place. You have Russian ships all over the place. We're not letting that happen. We're not letting it happen. And if Denmark wants to get to a conclusion, but nobody knows if they even have any right, title, or interest. The people are going to probably vote for independence or to come into the United States.
You know, when Donald Trump Jr. went there yesterday with Charlie Kirk, obviously they got a warm welcome. They gave out MAGA hats, and all the people, probably half the country showed up. There was a few hundred people, and they really welcomed Don Jr. And they were talking. I heard a couple of people talk about how Denmark doesn't care about us. We're second-class citizens. They don't do anything for us. Denmark, like just about every Western European country, super green. There's lots of resources in Greenland, you know, the oil and minerals and natural gas. They have no interest. They don't want to drill. They don't want to mine. They're like Norway and Sweden. You know, they're totally green. Why not? Why not? You're not going to hurt anyone. You're not going to displace anyone. It's a big empty country. Perfect place to drill and mine and take advantage of the natural resources. But I did this last night. I was curious. Like, I know Greenland's up there. It's northeast. It's toward the North Pole. It's really cold. And we saw that yesterday. They have like 3 hours of daylight this time of year. Denmark, Greenland is almost as close to us as it is to Denmark. It's 3,100 miles from us. It's 2,900 miles from Denmark. Denmark doesn't care about Greenland. So here's a guy, a pundit in Denmark, laying out the case for the U.S. taking Denmark. He writes, why my country, Denmark, should sell Greenland to the U.S. U.S. is a highly valued ally of Denmark. Yes, they are, and they will protect Denmark if they have to. We are a small country, and we can't contribute that much to the alliance, but we can contribute by selling Greenland, and that's something. Denmark doesn't have the capability to mine or extract the oil. Selling to someone who can make sense, as does not selling the rights to China. Whether the people of Greenland would want to join the U.S. is not a real hurdle. There are 56,000 people living there. For $5 billion, we could give every Greenlander $100,000. You think they might go for that? Here's $100,000. Instead of flying the Denmark flag, now you fly the U.S. flag. Makes sense. There are vast metal deposits underground and possibly 50 billion barrels of oil. And they are the rightful owners of this. Greenland has been under control of the Danish crown since before the U.S. was even a country. We've taken care of Greenland, but now we can give it back, give it to the U.S., sell it to the U.S. They don't care about it. They don't take advantage of it. They don't have a massive military presence there. They're not taking the oil. They're not doing anything to benefit the people of Greenland. Why not? Someone explain to me. It's not a joke. Not a joke, as Joe Biden would say. It makes sense. I like this idea. And it's expanding the American empire at no great cost. Hell, $5 billion. The Biden administration spent $100 billion on DEI last year. $5 billion. We've given that to the Taliban since we withdrew. We'll get to that, which is outrageous. But there were lots more highlights from this press conference. An unfiltered, unshackled Donald Trump, no longer concerned about the voters, the next election, no longer concerned about the FBI or DOJ coming after him. He doesn't care. He's just doing what he thinks is right and doing what he thinks is in the best interest of this country. And it was great to see. We'll get to more of that. And Liz Warren is coming after Pete Hegseth. Yes, she doesn't think Pete Hegseth is qualified to be the Secretary of Defense because he has tattoos. Yes, she actually wrote that. We'll get to that and more. But first.
Excuse me.
All right, small business owners, listen up. If you're tired of losing money to credit card processing fees, we've got something you need to hear. With 24/7 payments, you can eliminate up to 99% of those fees thanks to their fee elimination program. Here's how it works. You pass the processing fees on to customers who pay with credit cards, and in return, you can offer them a discount for paying with cash or debit. It's a simple, effective, and fully compliant way to save thousands every month. Right now, 24/7 Payments is switching over 250 businesses every month to this program, and they can have you set up in less than 24 hours. Call 855-504-0799 today or visit them on the web at 247payments.com. That's the numbers 247payments.com. That's a good point by Corey on the text line. Denmark's population, 5.9 million. Denmark is smaller than Massachusetts. We're going to really worry about what Denmark thinks. Again, Denmark doesn't do anything with Greenland. It's just sitting there. And it's strategically located for us. To me, the amazing thing was that this hasn't come up seriously, been discussed in the past. It's time. It's time to expand the empire, make it a territory. The people there will love it, especially when they get $100,000 each. And we will have a major military presence there for obvious reasons. As Trump said, China ships, Russian ships, they're all over Greenland. Well, as he said, we can't have that. We cannot have that. It's too strategically important. And a country of 6 million, I was in Denmark this summer. They're not, they don't matter, okay? They don't matter. Again, they're super green. They don't want to drill. They don't want to mine. We do. Let's do it. Drill, baby, drill. That's first priority. Build up the military presence and drill. And it'll be like the Louisiana Purchase. We'll look back and say, what a bargain. What a good idea. Now, Panama is another story. Panama, I never thought about this. Trump is getting people like me and you, I'm sure, to think about things you never thought about. I'm saying, what do we care about the Panama Canal? They let us go through, don't they? But he explains they charge us a lot more than any. And think of this. I believe we began building it, digging it in 1904. I looked this up too. Now, Trump exaggerates a lot, but that's okay. He's a salesman. He's a deal maker. We lost 25,000 people building the Panama Canal. So let's just think about it on basic terms here. We go down there. We build a canal. We lose 25,000 people, as he pointed out, many to malaria. They paid people good money to go down there and dig. And it was dangerous. And lots of people lost their lives. So we build it. It changes international commerce forever, opens up the world, at least the Western Hemisphere. And Jimmy Carter, God rest his soul, a good man, a bad president, but whatever. Jimmy Carter gives it away for $1. As Trump said, it's one of the big reasons he lost. It was a terrible idea. That's bad enough that we give it to Panama. Panama gives it to China. And I saw the video. They control both ends. China, their big road initiative, they're a big presence in Panama, including at the canal. So we build it. We spend the money, the toil, the treasure, the lives. And I don't care if it was 120 years ago. We did it. And now it's controlled by China. What sense does that make? And why is it too brash and braggadocious and bellicose for Trump to say that's unacceptable? Why? Because it's been 100 years. We did the work. We lost the lives. Of course, we should question this current arrangement. Of course, we should put economic and diplomatic pressure on Panama. If they're allowing China to control our canal, it makes all the sense in the world to demand a new deal, a new arrangement, and get China the hell out of there. But, people look at it and say, it's trust Trump. He's crazy. Why? Here he is. Is this Trump talking about Panama?
The Panama Canal is a disgrace, what took place at the Panama Canal. Jimmy Carter gave it to them for $1, and they were supposed to treat us well. I thought it was a terrible thing to do. It was the most expensive structure ever built in the history of our country, relatively. It would be the equivalent of substantially over $1 trillion today. We lost 38,000 people. Think of it, 38,000 people, they died from malaria, mosquitoes. They were unable to stop the mosquitoes. They paid people 5 times more to take the job. Many of those people died. We gave it away for $1. But the deal was that, you know, they have to treat us fairly. They don't treat us fairly. They charge more for our ships than they charge for ships of other countries.
Well, why is this a bad idea? Why? I mean, we pressure them. We make a deal. We get China the hell out of there. I like it. Panama, Greenland. I like his plan. Canada, you know, I think he's half joking when he talks about making it a 51st state. I don't want that. Too many liberals, too much woke nonsense, at least in the eastern side of the country.
It would be an awful lot of electoral college votes too.
Yeah, we don't want that. We don't want, you know, Montreal, God knows, Toronto, Ontario. We don't want that. These are people who voted for Justin Trudeau. We don't want them. But it's pressure. He wants a new deal. He's negotiating. Everything he does is a negotiation. Greenland, Panama, the Gulf of America. Now, the headline from everyone was, oh, he's busy changing the name of a body of water. Who cares? It's just pressure. That's all it is. It's leverage. And he's using it for good for this country. And it's a foreign concept to Democrats, to liberals, to the people in the media. They're saying, why is he doing this? And then you look and you say, China controls the Panama Canal. China has a presence in the North Atlantic, and we're not there, or we're not there. We're not strong enough, present enough in the North Atlantic. Russia is right there, and they want. I mean, he's doing it for strategic reasons. And again, he might be a little scattershot when he's talking about it, but everything he does and says is to benefit this country. When's the last time we saw that? You know, I guess with him, Trump 1.0, but we sure as hell didn't see it for the last 4 years. And there's no better example. There's no more insane example. And I had to read this freaking story. Actually, it's not a story. I saw a tweet from Tim Burchett, the congressman from Tennessee, great congressman. He's the guy who's always in the barn jacket. He's a good old boy from Tennessee. And he points out we're sending $40 million per week to the Taliban. Yes, you heard that right. $40 million per week to Afghanistan, which we used to have a presence there. And hell, we controlled the country for 20 years. We left disastrously. 13 service members died unnecessarily. Joe Biden called it an extraordinary success, our withdrawal. Since then, we've sent them over $1 billion to the Taliban. Why? Why? Why is this not a scandal? Why is this not an outrage? So he introduced a bill. It passed the House, and it was sitting on Chuck Schumer's desk, never brought it up in the Senate. Why don't we end that now? Why is that happening? Because Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, the Democrats don't give a damn about this country. I'm telling you, I can't even find a logical reason why we would do this. Sending money. You see it on Twitter, you see it on Burchett's feed, and you say, that can't be real. It's real. We're sending money to the Taliban. Do we want to spend money to take control of the largest island in the world for strategic reasons, economic reasons? It makes more sense than sending money to the Taliban or to, the Paris Climate Accords. We have to stop. And Trump says it over and over again, allowing other countries to take advantage of us. That's the Trump doctrine. Let's stop allowing other countries to take advantage of us, period. Whether it's Canada or Mexico or Panama or Denmark or Afghanistan. He's looking at all these deals and he's saying they make no sense. NATO, it makes no sense, as he says over and over again, for us to pay more to Ukraine than all the countries in Europe. That makes no sense. Why? Why do we do this? Why do we pay to defend them? Germany, we pay to defend Germany when Germany obviously is not going to defend itself, not anymore. And yet we pay and they don't pay their bill. And Trump points it out and people say, you know, he's I don't know what, he's going overboard here. No, he's not. He's looking out for this country, for you, for me. There were all kinds of great moments in this press conference. And again, all of it to serve this country, all of it looking out for the interests of this country. He talked about Gaza, and he's pretty damn brash and bellicose talking about this. But he says they'll be held to pay. If our hostages, 7 Americans still being held in Gaza, which is amazing when you think about it. Joe Biden's been president for the entire time they've been held hostage. He's hardly talked about it. Have you ever heard about it? And maybe it's behind closed doors, but a president doing anything to get our people home, Americans held in Gaza in just hellish conditions. He says that's top priority. Get them home. Isn't that what a president's supposed to say? Isn't that what a president's supposed to think? We want our people home by January 20th or else. Or else. Is there a military operation in the works? A way to get them home? I hope so. There should be. Do you think Biden has made it a priority? Let's get those Americans. Of course not. Of course not. He's too busy, pandering to the Muslim community and trying to play both sides. That should be all that matters. Get the Americans home. Then we'll talk. Get the Americans home. Period. That's what a president is supposed to do. And he had his envoy there with him talking about talks and negotiations, and hopefully they're ongoing. Hopefully it's like 1981 all over again, that they're freed on Inauguration Day. That would be a wonderful thing. What will you say then? Will you say he was too bellicose? He was too threatening? No, you'll say that's what a president is supposed to do. Before we move on, what else we got from Biden? From Biden. Nothing from Biden. Oh, we got some from Biden. We'll get to it, but we got Trump yesterday. And I don't care if they rename the damn Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Fine, do it, don't do it. I don't care. That doesn't matter to me. But this does. This does. Getting hostages home, getting Americans home. People have been tortured for more than a year, and we hardly mention them. It's just amazing. It's just a dereliction of duty from the current administration. Here's more from Trump yesterday.
To Greenland and the Panama Canal, so forth. Can you assure the world that as you try to get control of these areas, you are not going to use military or economic coercion?
No.
And can you tell us a little bit about what your plan is? Are you going to negotiate a new treaty? Are you going to ask the Canadians to hold a vote? What is the strategy?
Yeah, I can't assure you. You're talking about Panama and Greenland. No, I can't assure you on either of those two. But I can say this. We need them for economic security. The Panama Canal was built for our military. I'm not going to commit to that now. It might be that.
He says, no, I'm not. The guy actually asks, will you assure us that you won't use military or economic pressure on Panama or Greenland? What? No, we're not going to put any economic pressure on Panama. That might upset, the mainstream media. That might upset Liz Warren. Why would you ever rule that out? Of course you're going to use economic pressure. That's his job, you idiot, to use economic pressure. Use the might of the U.S., whether it's military or economic or anything else, to serve America. They just don't get it. They They don't understand it. What do you mean? You would do that to Panama while China controls the canal we built? I hope people were paying attention to this yesterday. I know it was middle of the day. People are busy, but you really have to see this 1 hour and 8-minute press conference, because it wasn't, I'm not going to say it was a master class, but it was a bright, shining example of putting America first and doing what's in best interest of America, which sadly is a refreshing change from what we've seen, not just in the last 4 years, but in the last 40 years. Putting America first. What's best for America tax? What makes most sense for America? I don't know. It's just great to see, and we're going to see it in action in 12 days. 12 days. We'll get to Joe Biden's latest from this absolute corrupt buffoon. He's lamenting that he ever withdrew from the race. I am too. I would have liked to have seen him. One more debate would have been great. That would have been spectacular. And see him out in the campaign trail. He is just delusional. He's a delusional, demented old man. And we got 12 days left to see how much damage. He talked about that too. How it's a lie that Biden wants a smooth transition. No, he does not. He wants the most difficult transition he can. He wants to sabotage the incoming administration, and he's going to continue to do just that for the next 12 days. We'll get to that and lots more, but first.
Excuse me.
Are you looking to cut costs and improve your business's bottom line? The best business operators have turned to Ramp to help them stop wasteful spending and improve their finance operations. Ramp is the corporate card and spend management software designed to help you save time and put money back in your pocket. With Ramp, spend policies are built into the card so you can prevent wasteful spending before it happens. You can customize spending limits and restrictions so employees are empowered to purchase what your business needs, and you have peace of mind. Ramp plays bad cop so you don't have to. Detecting policy violations, chasing missing documentation, requesting repayment, and locking down cards of non-compliant employees. Ramp helps you manage all your finance operations in one place. Card expenses, reimbursements, vendor payments, accounting automation, and a whole lot more. So you can see all your business spending in one place. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/Gerry. Ramp.com/Gerry. That's RAMP.com/Gerry. Card issued by Sutton Bank, member FDIC. Terms and conditions apply. Get $250 when you join Ramp. Go to ramp.com/Gerry. Our daily installment of our segment of just how humiliating it is to be a Massachusetts voter, or just about any blue state at this point. The new House, the new Congress, voted on its first bill yesterday. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. And I was looking forward to this. Obviously, there's a bright red line between people who are interested in protecting Americans, preventing the next Laken-Riley, the nursing student in Georgia, who was brutally murdered by an illegal alien while she was out for a jog. She was tortured and murdered by Jose Ibarra, an illegal alien from Venezuela who came into the country illegally under Joe Biden, was arrested in New York for endangering a child, was arrested in Georgia for shoplifting, not deported, not detained, free to murder, Laken-Riley. So they name it after her. Good thing. I like that. It's a bill that would detain illegal aliens who commit crimes like theft and other crimes. You detain them, hopefully deport them. Why would you want them here? They're not only illegal aliens, but they're criminals who don't respect our law. Obviously, any good American, decent person would support this, would say, of course we want to do this. Of course we don't want people like Jose Ibarra in our communities. Well, they took a vote on the Laken-Riley Act. It passed 264 to 159. Yes, you heard that right. 159 no votes. no, we don't want to detain illegal aliens who commit crimes in our country the way Jose Ibarra did. All 159 are Democrats. All Massachusetts congressmen, except one, Stephen Lynch, voted against it. Same people voted against the Nancy Mace Act back in September. They voted against deporting illegal aliens who commit sexual-related violent crimes. They want these people in your community. They want to protect them. That is the new position of the Democrat Party as Trump takes office. Let's keep them here. Let's keep them in your community. It defies logic. It's insane. It's mind-boggling that anybody could say, let's keep Jose Ibarra in the country. Let's take our chances. They don't care about American citizens. They care about illegal aliens. That's the way Democrats think. Well, most Democrats. It's going to go to the Senate, and we will see. I think they will need 7 Democrat votes. John Fetterman is one. He's a yes vote for the, and he's the best Democrat right now. It's amazing to think about after watching him run against Dr. Oz after his stroke. Remember that debate? He was just lost. It's hard to believe. He's the voice of reason. He had a stroke and he turned sensible. He became clear thinking. He became an outlier, a pariah in the Democrat Party because he actually cares about American people. Here he is talking about the potential vote, the upcoming vote in the Senate on the Laken-Riley Act. Go ahead.
Like, it's really common sense. And I'd like to remind everybody that we have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of migrants here illegally that have convicted of crimes. And why, I don't know why, who wants to defend that, to allow them to remain in our nation that. And now if you're here illegally and you're committing crimes and those things, I don't know why anybody thinks that it's controversial that they all need to go.
Do you think that this was one of, if not the biggest issue for this election?
Well, I think if we can't, there's 47 of us in the Senate, and if we can't pull up with 7 votes, if we can't get at least 7 out of 47, and if we can't, then that's the reason why we lost. That's one of them. That's one of why we lost, in part.
Go ahead. That's why they lost. You know what? They're going to kick him out. There's already talk of him becoming a Republican, and he should, when you think about it. He's out of step with the Democrat Party, who wants to protect not just illegal aliens who commit crimes, who come into our country and steal and hurt, assault people and rape and murder. Let's not be so hasty as to kick them out of the country. God, these people have just lost their way. I don't know who they're serving. I mean, other than illegal aliens, are there really that many voters, Americans, who are against this? Detaining, deporting criminals? They're not here, to work hard and pay taxes and make a better life for their family. They're here to take advantage of the system. And it really is sickening when you think about the logic behind this. The people we vote for don't care about us. They care about Jose Ibarra. They care about the worst of the worst. People who just come here to hurt people and steal things. Just insane. Really is sad, the current state of the Democrat Party. But Fetterman's right. Keep it up. Keep it up. And we'll see what happens in the next election when people get a good look at the current state of the Democrat Party, which is led by Senator Liz Warren. Just an absolute disgrace, an embarrassment. It's shameful that people go and vote. I think she got, 60% of the vote. And now she's doing her best to stop Trump's nominees. By the way, Fetterman's going to vote for some, if not all, of Trump's nominees, his cabinet nominees. Fetterman's going to sit down with these people, talk to them. He said that's the way it works. President gets to pick his people. Well, Liz Warren came out strongly against Pete Hegseth yesterday. She sent a letter. This is from the New York Post. Liz Warren strongly suggested there are concerns that Army veteran Pete Hegseth could be, quote, an insider threat due to his Christian tattoo and seethed over his crusade against woke military policies in a blistering missive to the defense secretary nominee. While outlining 70 questions to Hegseth and giving him 4 days to reply, Warren made clear she sees him as unfit to helm the Pentagon and teased a fiery showdown when he appears before the Senate Armed Services Committee next week. Quote, I am deeply concerned by the many ways in which your behavior and rhetoric indicates that you're unfit to leave the Defense Department, the 75-year-old Massachusetts senator said in a 33-page letter to Hegseth. All right, I got a question. Maybe I'm missing something. Why would Pete Hegseth answer these questions, 70 questions from Liz Warren, who's going to vote against him? It's obvious. We know that most Democrats will vote against him. She will lead the charge. And she thinks he's unfit because of a tattoo. It's a Deus, I don't even know how to say it, Deus Vult tattoo, a Latin phrase that translates to God wills it. It's a cross. It's a Christian tattoo. There's nothing nefarious about it. It's got a bunch of tattoos, American flags and guns and Christian verses. And she thinks that disqualifies him. There's a woman who thought Lloyd Austin did a wonderful job. It is amazing. You know what she uses against him? That he was flagged, that he was not allowed to serve as in the Army on duty for Joe Biden's inauguration, when Biden was inaugurated, because he was a right-wing extremist. So the next Secretary of Defense, maybe a guy, hopefully he's a guy, who was flagged 4 years ago as an inside threat, an extremist. And what most upsets her is he said he's getting rid of all the woke generals. He's getting rid of all the woke nonsense, all the DEI that we've heard and seen and talked about for 4 years that's in the military. He wants to get rid of all that, all the DEI nonsense. And she thinks that makes him unfit. Why even indulge her? What am I missing? Just give her a middle finger and move on and court the Republicans, obviously, the squishy Republicans, the Susan Collinses and the Mitch McConnells, and Fetterman, guys like that. Who cares with this woman? She's the extremist. She's out of step. We don't want woke policies in the military. That's why Trump won. That's why Hegseth was nominated, to get rid of these people, to get rid of this insidious ideology. Get it out of the military. Why would we want that? We don't. It'll be fascinating to watch this thing play out. God, I hope he gets confirmed. I had my doubts for a while because of his personal issues, but she's going to go after him about everything, including his, extramarital affairs, his drinking and all that. But as a military guy, this is exactly what we need. It's exactly what Trump promised. This is a promise kept right here. We're going to do something to change the whole mentality in the military, and Hegseth is just the guy to do it. All right, before we move on, we got to get to Sonny Hostin again. We might as well do a daily segment on Sonny too. Daily segment on The View, because this is just so glorious, so rich. Sonny Hostin, as we told you yesterday, she's the one who said January 6th was like the Holocaust and World War II. Still can't believe she actually said that, and these other idiots just kind of nodded along. Well, she's got an issue. This is from the Daily Mail. The longtime husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin is starting the new year under a cloud after being accused of federal insurance fraud. Orthopedic surgeon Emmanuel Manny Hostin is among 200 defendants named in one of the largest RICO cases ever filed in New York. He and many others are accused of getting kickbacks by performing surgery and fraudulently billing a company that insures taxi companies and Uber and Lyft drivers. Austin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services, including arthroscopic surgeries. The lawsuit says, which was filed on December 17th. The insurance firm then billed in exchange for kickbacks and other compensation, which were disguised as dividends or other cash distributions. He's in trouble. I mean, he is in trouble. He built insurance companies for surgeries and built the insurance carriers. This is a woman, by the way, who's railed against insurance companies on the heels of the murder of Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare. She railed against insurance companies while her husband was bilking them, according to this lawsuit. What if she'll talk about this on The View? What if she'll compare this to the Holocaust? Anyway, she's part of this. She implicated him indirectly when she was when she was criticizing insurance companies and talking about what her husband has to do when insurance companies deny claims. I think this is going to be entered into evidence. Listen to this.
Wait, hold on. Let Sonny get in here. I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And, doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do. So there are a lot of problems with it. But the notion that we are in a violent country, this country was built on violence. We're a very violent country. And it's just undeniable that that's the case. And so I'm not, unfortunately, surprised that people are celebrating the use of violence. I'm not surprised that this young man thought that change could be accomplished through.
You got to get the clip where she talks about her husband performing surgery on people who don't have insurance and then suing the healthcare companies. So
I can play it if you want.
All right.
I mean, I agree with mostly everything that's been said. I mean, we know that, only about 31% of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system. And
shut up.
Doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operate on something even though they don't have insurance.
This country is it was built on violence. She's talking about the American Revolution. That's a bad thing now too, Sonny. What country wasn't built on violence, by the way? Anyone? What country wasn't conquered in the history of countries? I don't know. We'll be watching today. Well, we'll watch the clips and the highlights to see if Sonny discusses the predicament her husband's in. He could go to prison. That'll be wild.
Yeah, here's another shorter one.
All right, let's listen to more from Sonny. Co-conspirator.
Case now, the prosecutors are like, oh, really? Well, how about we add some additional fraud charges onto you? And they're talking about threatening him with insurance fraud, which I would say you could get about 20 years in prison. So that's a death sentence for him.
So you can get 20 years for insurance fraud. I don't know, Sonny. Your significant other may be doing a hard time. That'll be why. And they're fabulously wealthy. She makes millions. And he's out there bilking insurance companies for Uber rides and uninsured patients. Well, we'll be monitoring that, following that one to see how Sonny's holding up as her husband gets as the proceedings continue against Dr. Austin, fraudster. But that will do it. We're still watching fires, man. It is just so sad watching these fires. And I don't care if it's a blue area, blue state, blue people. You want to follow the latest, get on Twitter and follow James Woods, because his house, the flames, last I checked, were getting close. I think James Woods had to evacuate, but they were getting close to his house, and he was tweeting pictures from the fires as they climbed closer. Get ready for it. You're going to hear all about climate change, which has nothing to do with this. It's fire management. It's the negligence, the dereliction of the duties of the local officials, the mayor, the governor, the fire chief, who, again, let's give credit where it's due. She's very diverse. She's very diverse. We're happy. The fire chief of LA is a woman with a wife who's marches in LGBTQ parades and pride parades, and that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? As the city burns. But we'll hope for the best, but it does not look good. Anyway, that will do it for today. Thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Don't forget to subscribe, to follow on Apple or Spotify. We appreciate it. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, my God. Is she crazy?
Thank you. Thank you
Wow.
all. Thank you so very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Oh, too many thank yous.